So our aims for today, I'll let you read that. You don't need me to read it, hopefully. But we're going to look at 3 specific areas. Now, classroom management is a massive area, and we can't cover it in 1 hour, probably can't cover it in 1 day, right? It's a huge area of teaching. So I just thought we'd try and break it down into 3 different areas. Namely, noisy classes. And noisy classes could mean that the students are actually doing something productive. It could be chaotic, but productive, that's fine. I'm thinking about engaging learners, getting them ready to learn, and actually getting them ready to listen to you, give instructions, or start the lesson. That's what we're going to look at. And again, we're going to focus on giving instructions. Now, when I did my Delta qualification, this was an area that I looked at because I recognized from being observed, and from being observed by my boss and by my peers, that my instructions were pretty poor. I didn't give very good instructions, and when I did, I never checked those instructions, and then it caused me lots of problems. So I focused a whole year on learning how to get better at giving instructions, and hopefully I can give you some nice little tips to do that better. And we're going to look at fast finishers. All right, these are kids that generally are good students. They finish the class, or they finish the work early, and then this can sometimes lead to classroom management problems. So we'll look at ideas about how we can engage those students as well. But first of all, I'd like to do a little brainstorm, a little word cloud. So you need to get your phone out. You need to get your smartphone. Yes. If you don't have a smartphone, borrow the person next to you. All right? Or give the person next to you your ideas. And we're going to use a survey software called Mentimeter. And I'd like you to go to menti.com and type in this code, and then answer the question. The question should be, what do you think of when you think of classroom management? I need water. The Wi-Fi password. I'm not. Anybody? Wi-Fi password? Uh-oh. Oh, not a big deal. That's a good start. Rules, supervise, control. Oh, I like boundaries. That's a nice word, isn't it? Oh, it's a big discipline. Rules. Okay, I'll give you 1 more minute, and then we'll have a look and see how it compares with Hanoi. Thirty more seconds. Okay, that's a pretty good response. So we can see there's a big words in the middle: behavior, rules, discipline, order. These kind of words are coming through. And I think if we look at Hanoi, when I did this in Hanoi, they had a similar kind of idea. And I'll show you their cloud now. Whoop. Ah. Excuse me. Okay, there it is. So this was what we had from Hanoi. So you can see how people have similar ideas to what you have. We have the word control, rules, engagement. They're very, very similar. Now, we're not going to look at the rules today, about establishing rules. I think because probably you're thinking about this means you probably do that already. Okay, you establish rules with young learners and boundaries, and that's important. So we're going to look at those other three areas, but I was interested to know what you think. This program, this Mentimeter program, by the way, is a nice tool for classroom management, particularly with teenagers, because they get a chance to use their phones. And when I asked you to get your phones out, it went very quiet, because you were on your phone thinking about what you were going to write. And it quietened you down, and it made you ready to study. So that was good. So Mentimeter.com is the site, and it's free of charge to use this kind of software in your classroom. Okay, now, excess energy and groupings. This is the first part. So this is going to help us with our noisy class. Often we get students come to class full of energy, and we need to try and disperse that and use that in a good way. So I'm going to show you a little idea to put students into groups, just to give you a little tip of how to do that, and then we're going to work in groups. Now, this is a huge group, so I can't get you all to move and show you what I'd like to do. So I'd just like the first 3 rows to stand up and come to the front, please. The first 3 rows. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Come on, don't be shy. I promise I'm not going to make you speak. So what we're going to do, we're going to put these guys into groups. These are our active class. They've just had a break. They've just had lots of Coca-Cola. They're full of sugar, and they're full of energy. I want to just get rid of some of the energy, so I'm going to do a grouping activity. So I'm going to shout a number, okay? And when I say that number, I would like you to get into groups depending on that number. So if I say 4, how many people do you have to find? 3. Yes. If you find 4, that means you're in a group of 5. Right. So you have to find 3 more people, right? If you cannot find a group within the 10 seconds that I will give you to find a group, if you're on your own with nowhere to go, you are called a straggler. And you will get a task to do. All right? Only the straggler. Okay. So the first number will have 8. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop! And stop! Stop, 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 stop! Put your hand up if you are a straggler. Straggler, to the front, please. Come here, please. No, 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 we said stop. I said stop. So, your task is say the alphabet backwards. Okay, it's difficult, right? Okay, okay. Next number. 4. 5. 4, 3, 2, 1. Any stragglers? Stragglers over here, can you come to the front, please? Can you come to the front? Okay, and your task, sing a song. We got requests. Everybody. Okay, stop. Stop. I hate that song. And the last one, 5. 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop. Stop, 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 stop. Stragglers, to the front, please. Stragglers, to the front, please. And your task, say I love you to someone.
I love you.
Okay, very good. Now, what was the last number? 5. So when you go back, and you guys, can you now get into small groups of about 5, please, for this next task? 5 in a group, please. Okay, and you guys can sit back down in your seats and get into groups of 5. Groups of about 5, okay? And we're going to look at the first issue, the first problem that we've got. Now, we have a lot of people here, which is great. I've got some ideas that I want to share with you, but because we've got so many teachers who are teaching primary, you will have your own ideas, so I want to create a bank of ideas. So in your group of 5, I want you to give me 5 solutions that you have for quieting a noisy class. How do you get the class to be quiet? Can you write them on this piece of paper? And then after about 5 minutes, I'm going to stop you, but I'm going to take in the paper and I'm going to collate them for you, okay? And then share them with you later. So 1 paper in your group of 5. Take 1 and pass 1 along.
Very much.
1 per group. 1 per group. 1 per group. Can you pass 1 on? Pass 1 back. There'll be some more coming in a moment. We've got such a big group. One per group, yeah? Maybe you could work in a...
That's working for us.
No, I need you to be in bigger groups because we don't have enough papers.
5, yeah.
We got 5 here. I think maybe we haven't got enough pieces of paper. So guys, can you find a piece of paper and just write them on your piece of paper? List of 5, okay? Yeah, so work in a group as well. That's great. Okay, good. Lovely.
How to quiet a noisy class?
Yeah, tell your group how you do it. How do you do it? Tell your group how you do it, right? I think we do that after, but we can do if we need to. No, we never hit them. Never hit them.
Play a song.
This is like hearing. So, and then slap them one is like it's a physical thing.
Finished already. Good. Right.
They're gonna be quiet. That's for sure.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. And is it effective when you do it in your class? Yeah. Good.
Duct tape, is that good?
Harsh.
A reward for the quietest child. Before.
I like that. I like that. Yeah. Yeah. Focus on the positive behavior, right? Yeah.
Using mail to
That's very honest. Number one. I like that. Use bribes. Good. 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 Like this one. I like silence.
we will
Yeah,
silent
silent
and we
and
watch
silent
the
watch
children.
Okay, keep it with you for a moment. Okay, good. Now, I'm seeing lots of good ideas. I'm seeing lots of people using some sign that they give to the class to get them to listen to the teacher, to stop talking. There was an idea over here which I really like, which was focus on the good behavior. So you would praise the students who are being quiet rather than focusing on the students who are being noisy. Let's focus on those good ones. That was quite a nice idea. Also, one was get to the class early so the students can see they don't have an opportunity to, particularly at the start of the lesson, if they see you in the lesson already waiting for them and saying hello, how are you, then they don't have a chance to mess around with each other before the teacher comes in and you walk in and go, oh my, what's going on? Please sit down, please be quiet. They already know that you're there, so it just starts. So get to the class a little bit early if you can. Now, with that piece of paper, before you go, can you give it to me? Before you go, you don't need to come now, but I want to collect all your ideas, and then when we send you the PowerPoints and all the documents and the certificates, you can get these ideas as well. So you'll have hundreds of ideas how to quiet a noisy class. Now, the first idea, we were talking about using a signal. All right, so some kind of signal. You might ring a bell. You might whistle. But for me, I like Lucy's little boop, 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 because it was nice. It had a nice sound. It was quite soft, but it was quite high pitched. I don't mind that. But with a bell, a ding, 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 this for me, it's too harsh. It creates more noise. The same as if you shout, be quiet. It might have an impact initially, but it's just going to increase the noise in the classroom, and you want to lower the noise. All right? So I like to use prompts like this, like you'll see a minion. So when I hold up the minion, when I show you the picture, you raise your hands. Okay? Let's try it. Okay. Now, the good thing about a prompt like this is you have to raise your hands. So you can't write, you can't play on your phone. I have to see your hands in the air and you're looking at me. Okay? So when you see this in the session today, please raise your hands. The other thing is, I don't have to say anything because you've raised your hands. Your friend is looking at the phone. Oh, what? Oh, okay, I need to raise my hand too. So you police each other, which is important. Another suggestion that I've used before is, who's that? Who's that? What does Tom want? To catch Jerry, right? So that's, if Tom catches Jerry, it's bad. We don't want it to happen. We like Jerry. So if the class is noisy, Tom moves towards Jerry. So what I have is a picture of Tom on the side of my board, and on the other side is a picture of Jerry. Now, I have them here, but I didn't stick them up. So there's Tom, and there's Jerry. So I'd stick these on my board, on either side of the board. And as the lesson goes on, if the class is being too noisy, I just start to move Tom. I'll take him off the board and I'll just put him a bit closer to Jerry. So the students know that, oh, if Tom gets to Jerry, there's something going to happen. And it's probably not going to be good. Right? So it's a visual representation. I don't need to say, be quiet. I don't need to say, stop misbehaving. I just move Jerry. Just keep moving, keep moving Tom towards Jerry. If it gets even more noisy, he gets closer. And then if it gets into even more noisy and chaos, he catches him. And then what? And then we punish. Now, how you punish your students is very important as well. Now, we don't want to punish. I've seen teachers punish students by giving them homework. I don't agree with this. All we are doing is making our students dislike learning English if we give them extra homework. So try and think of creative ways to punish your students. Maybe some tidying up. Maybe singing a song, yeah. Or talking in front of the class. But maybe that won't be too nice. Dancing, anything, yeah. But you think of creative ways. What else could I use instead of Tom and Jerry? Maybe something a bit more cultural, sensitive to Vietnam, I don't know. Is there anything else I could use? So there's loads of ideas. You could even get students to choose, right? Or you could have you. A picture of yourself, move it along the board. But obviously, when Teacher Dell is here, actually he's going to be quite happy. And then you need to take 3 pictures. One is happy, one is a bit more like, and one is...
Wow.
And you move it across. You could do that as well. Up to you. Talk to the hand. I heard lots of people just say, be silent. Yes, it's a really nice way to quieten a class. If you stand there and you don't say anything, put your hand up. Maybe you could count down as well, but best thing, just put your hand up. Children are going to look at you and go, what's he doing? And then all of a sudden, this takes a bit of confidence, a bit of experience, but try it and see how it works. And with any of these techniques, Lucy mentioned this morning about parent connections with parents. If you have good connections with parents, maybe if you're teaching pre-primary, some of these will be good for kindergarten classes, some of them for primary, then tell the parents how you get the children to be quiet, because maybe they could use the same idea at home, and then it just becomes second nature. The children just know. Hand up means quiet, and they just become kind of programmed in a way. So tell the parents how you do it, and please keep it the same. Try not to change it up too much. If you share a class with another teacher, talk to the teacher and tell them how you do it, and this will help you. And spend time doing this. The same as rules in the classroom. Your first week, when you have a group of new students, should be spent teaching them how to learn, teaching them how to behave. Take your time doing this, and you will see the rewards as you get through the term. Okay, problem 2. We're going to look at giving instructions. And I have a pair of lips here, and that will become... You will understand why I have some lips in a moment. So I'm going to now give you a questionnaire. Now, I've said in pairs, but we'll just try and do this in 3s or whatever, however you want to do it. We'll try and get enough paper. And this time I'm going to start at the back with the handouts. Don't worry, you'll get some. And we're going to discuss. So the first one, this is getting your ideas about what you think about instructions. So it says, do you think your instructions through from the point of view of the student at the planning stage of the lesson? So before you go into the class, you know what activities you're going to do with the students. You know the stages of your lesson. But do you ever think about what you're going to say to make sure that the students know what they are doing? Or do you just do this because you know how to teach? No. All right. So if you do it beforehand, and maybe you might even make notes what you're going to say to give instructions, then you would put always. If you do it sometimes, and if you never do it, you just walk into class and just teach your class, and then it's a never. All right? So with the person next to you, have a discussion. I'm going to give you the little handout here. So I might need... My Cham, can you help me give these out, please? Thank you. At the back first. One between 2 or 3 or 4 is fine. We can work together. Thank you. And I'll remove actually that, so that if you don't have a copy, you can see. I'll move this for you now as well so you can see it all. So hopefully you can read that. That's pretty good. Yeah, I can, yeah. And this will be included in the handouts as well. When you download the PowerPoints, you can get these documents. Thank you. One between 3 or 4 is good.
3 or 4.
Yeah, I'll take some over there. Over there as well. Huh? Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah. Thanks, Dan. Good man. Thank you.
You double check it. They got it already. Instructions? Yes. You stand in front. Yes.
Good. You've been honest. It's very nice. Okay, I'll give you one more minute, and then we'll have a look together. Okay. This sheet, you don't need to give it back to me. Okay, this one, I don't need it back. Only the first one. So there are, going around, you've been very honest, and that's nice to see, that you're honest with yourself. There are 3 that really that should be never. Which are those 3 that should be never? Number 4, right? Yeah. So number 4 should be never. We shouldn't give lengthy explanations. If we're standing there explaining and talking and explaining, the student's going to think about what they're having for lunch or what they're doing at the end of the day. So number 4 should be never. What else? Number 10, for sure, yes. If you ask, do you understand, the answer will always be? Yes. Yes, of course. Yep. So we never ask, do you understand? You should always ask a question to check that. And the last, the other one? Number 7, I think, is okay. As long as you know the students can do the task, you can model. That's fine. That's good practice. Number 6, yeah. So do you try to repair misunderstanding? If you try to repair misunderstanding, you've already failed in giving instructions, right? So, for example, if I gave you the handout and then I told you what to do, I'm guaranteed that you're not going to do what I want you to do. You just start working on the handout. So you keep the handout to yourself before you give the instructions. And repairing instructions is very difficult because some students will understand what they're supposed to do and will start the activity, and some are going like, I've got no idea, but how do you tell these? And then these are doing something else, and then all of it, stop, everybody stop, 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 and then it's quiet, and then the management's gone. So no repairing of instructions. Now, to avoid repairing instructions, what do we need to do? We need to check our instructions, of course. Now I've lost my, oh, here it is, okay. Sorry, big crowd. So we need to kiss, keep it short and simple, yes. That's what it means, yeah. And we need to check instructions with simple ICQs. What's an ICQ? Yes, it's an instruction checking question. Now, it's easy to give instructions, and it's easy to check instructions, but this is a key stage that I've seen so many times. I've observed teachers, a lot of teachers, and this is one thing that I'm always picking them up on, is not checking instructions. Even if they think the students understand what they're supposed to do, how do I know that? How do I know that they know what to do unless they check instructions? This is a key area I want you to take away today. So, ICQs. Here's an instruction. So this is a standard instruction in a classroom. When I say go, I want you to move into your groups. You have 10 seconds. All right? So if I want to check that instruction, what could I ask? Tell the person next to you. How would you check that students understand what they have to do? Tell the person next to you. What would you do? What would you say? Okay, so who's got an idea? What would you say? What are we going to do? Yes. Okay, anything else?
How many seconds?
One moment, sorry, at the back. Okay. Yeah, but I think we know what the size of the group is because I haven't said how many in a group. but good. Anything else? What do you do when I say go? Good. How many seconds? So I've got a couple of similar ideas. Okay, so very simple ideas, but very important so that you know. If I went, when I say go, I want you to move into your groups. You have 10 seconds. Do you understand? Yeah. Okay, go. And then they're not in groups, they're in pairs. So this is a nice way of checking understanding. All right, I'll give you a minute. Another example. With the person next to you, can you come up with some instructions? Checking questions.
What happens when you're bad?
Like that.
What's happened if your teammate who gets punished for misbehaving? You or the team?
Okay. Any ideas? What happens if you misbehave? Good. Anything else? How can you get a point? Yes. And how can you lose a point, Aman? Yes. Okay. Someone says, what happens if you're bad? I think it was a group here. I really like that because bad also checks the understanding of misbehave, right? Now, I'm assuming my students do know what misbehave means, but if I say what happens if you're bad, they're going to know bad. Usually it's one of the first words that we learn, right? Bad and good. So this is a nice way, really good, I think it's this group, really good to check that understanding of misbehave as well. So I've got and what I like about these instruction checking questions is the language. What kind of sentence or question is this? If I think about the tense or the grammar, it's a conditional, right? It's a first conditional. Now, when do we start teaching first conditionals? Do we teach first conditionals in primary? Maybe at level 6 or 5 or 6, but higher level primary. Normally conditionals are left till later on, right? Intermediate level possibly. But here we're using them. I think this is really, it's a nice way to introduce other language as well in your instructions because they can see quite clear. You don't need to tell them, now I'm going to check instructions and I'm going to use a first conditional question. All right, so be ready. You're not going to say that. You just use it and they will understand. They learn that emergent language as it comes through. Okay, now, let's get you to check on giving instructions. Now, I've handed out this piece of paper. Again, work in a group. Just find someone who's got one of these and work with them. It doesn't matter about the size of the group, but please find someone. And choose any situation. There are 5 situations. Choose any you like. Any you want. But only one situation.
I don't have it.
This group. There you go. Or maybe someone behind you has one. Okay? Find someone who's got it. So, which situation should you choose? Which situation? Any situation, right? Then you have 2 minutes to write the instructions for that situation. What do you have to write? And how many minutes do you have? 2 minutes, okay. You will then pass your sheet to another group after I say 2 minutes is over. Who do you give your sheet to? Another group. The group then writes ICQs for that instruction or instructions. What do you do with your new sheet? Write ICQs. And then you pass it back to the original group for them to check. Who do you give it back to? The original group. Okay, so there's your instructions, and nice and check. So you've got 2 minutes. Pick a situation, write instructions. Work together. Remember to kiss.
Number 2's hard, man.
We need to write this.
No, you the group will do that, and then you pass. Yeah. Okay, when you've written your instructions, give them to another group, and the other group, please write ICQs for those instructions. Pass it to another group. Share.
Can we have a look at the topics? How many people?
They're here. They're here, the situations.
We wait.
Yeah, they'll write the instructions, then they can give it to you, and you can write the ICQs. Why not? Yeah. Or you can help them.
But I don't want to say. Right? It's going to give the instruction. That's why they can find that upstairs.
And allow volume.
Or like put your hands on them, like.
You talk about the order of the ICQs then.
Yeah.
Tell me more. Okay, now, the sheet that you might be able to see, depending on if there was enough to give out and if you could get to see one, again, this will be made available to you. There are 5 situations, 5 questions, 5 ICQs. When you get this, when you download the materials, I'd like you to do this for homework, please. All right? Practice. Look at the situation, write the instructions, write the ICQs, and get into a habit of checking instructions. You want to get to the stage where your students are kind of like, oh, he's checking instructions again. It's like, because then you know that your students are going to understand. Also, it doesn't matter if you patronize your students by checking instructions. You just need to be clear that the weakest student in your class understands what they have to do. And if the strong students are all flying ahead, then fine. But you need to make sure the weakest student understands. Also, you'll notice we talked a little bit again in this group about the order of instructions and the order of ICQs. Give an instruction if it's complex like this. Given instructions, check the instruction. Give the next stage, check it, and follow that order. That's quite important that you do that. Okay, let's move on. It's nearly lunchtime. Fast finishers. So I'm going to give you some ideas now about how we would deal with fast finishers, or how we can deal with fast finishers. But before I do that, let's just have a little chat with each other. So what do you do with students who finish work quickly and then have to wait for the others to finish? How do you engage those students? Do you engage them, or do they start punching each other and talking and getting their phones out? What do you do? What do you do to help your students who finish early? Can you tell the person next to you, just for a minute? Okay, who would like to give me an idea, a solution?
So normally we'll give some advanced stuff for the advanced kids to do if they finish fast. Or
So,
we ask them to help the weaker students.
Of the same task, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got two ideas here. We give them more advanced work, or we get them to help the other children. Okay, very good, thank you. I've got a prize for you. Anybody else from this side?
So,
Sorry, I don't have a microphone, so...
be my TA. That's the technique I always use with my finisher. Means that I know how weak student and stronger student in my class. So I told them, come to help your friend, and your name will be in the happy face on the board. So they happy with this.
Okay.
And the one who is that the kind of student who quite disruptive when they finish. So I say them, be my supervisor, work around the class. If you see someone very slow or haven't finished the worksheet, tell them finish the lesson for me. Thank you.
Very nice, very good, okay, thank you. Just to tell you at the back what this idea was, because I don't have a mic, is to make the students become kind of like your teaching assistant. So they help you. Maybe they don't help the other students, but they go around and they find out, they monitor the class for you to see who might need extra help and then report back to you or help them. Nice idea. One more from the back here. Oh, go on, sir.
Sometimes if there's like a little in-class library or maybe computers, the quick students could maybe do independent learning on PC or read a book or something like that.
Perfect, thank you. And there's a book for you to read. Beautiful, thank you. Yeah, so just to let you guys know what he said, have some extra stuff in your classroom. If you're lucky and you have maybe a computer or a little mini library, get them to read a book or do some independent study while they're waiting for the other students to finish. Good. Now, I'm going to show you some ideas that I had a look at as well that I've used. I've got a bag left, but you've all got one, right? So work on an unfinished assignment, all right? So if you start assignments in your class and you keep them, so it's never going to be finished until the end of term, they can continue to work on those kind of assignments. Choose a card from the task card box. So we have lots of resources that are available, and you can probably download lots of resources. Macmillan produced these writing prompt boxes. There's many, many different kinds of these. So if you have a nicely resourced school, you can ask your supervisor to get some and then use those to help you. Job cards. So if you are lucky enough to have your own classroom, it's your room, you have to take care of it. You can get the students to help you with that, and they take out a card. It might be tidying the library. It might be sharpening the pencils. All those kind of things. The only thing is with job cards is you want to make it kind of a bit fun. You don't want to start getting children to do all your sort of admin work for you, because then they won't want to finish fast, right? So they're going to like go slow on purpose. Have some games in a folder that children can play together, a bit of fun, that use language, but are just something different that they can do. Play some games. Read a book, of course. Or write a story. Don't want to do that, huh? No. So try and think of something creative. Maybe they can write a story that they're interested in. I don't know, like, if they like football, imagine they're a footballer and they're playing a, yeah, exactly. Have sentence that they have to finish the sentences, things like that. Help a friend, we had that. Finish homework. This is quite rewarding, particularly if it's not English homework. If you let them finish their maths homework or their science homework, or so that they at least get that time back when they go home. That's a kind of nice thing to do. As long as they're quiet, right? And the last one, which I think is probably the most important, is differentiate. This is another whole area of classroom management, but it is super important to stop fast finishes happening. Imagine you've got a reading activity for a very simple differentiation activity. You're doing a reading task. There's 10 questions. The strong students get 10 questions. The middle students get 7, and the students who need a bit more support get 5 questions to do, okay? And they don't know which one it is. You just give it out. You know as their teacher what they're going to get, all right? But what you can do as well, when you start to teach your students and they start to learn, they can choose which sheet they want. So they can go, I feel great today, feeling motivated, I'm feeling strong, I'm going to go for 10 questions. I'm going to do it. Or they can say, I'm a bit lazy today, did loads of homework last night, I'm only going to choose 5. And with primary students, particularly the 5 and 6, they will start to then develop this skill of choosing how they want to study and what they want to learn. And you as a teacher, it's a nice way to push those students who might need that little bit of extrinsic motivation from you to push them on and take them further. So think about that before you even think about what you're going to do with fast finishes to stop it before it happens. Okay, I finished on time. Great. So, thank you for your time. Now, just one thing, because I have got one more minute to talk to you. So you'll see, now there's a problem here. This one should be there, and that one should be there, but don't worry. Now, we at Macmillan, we have a website for teachers called Macmillan Education Asia, and what we want is people to write blogs. We want to be able to give you exposure to Asia and also across China. Now, I write blogs and John writes blogs, but we want to ask other teachers if they're interested in having their blogs published by us. We will publish them for you. So you have my email address. If you write blogs and you want to get them out there, you want to get your name out there, we translate them into Chinese and they go across all of China. It's a really nice way to build your own portfolio of or online presence. We can't pay you, unfortunately, but we can give you that exposure if you want it. And it's a great way to develop yourself. For example, we looked at ICQs. If you want to learn more about ICQs, Google it, research it, write a blog about it. What are you going to do to get better at giving ICQs? Write about it. That helps you as a teacher develop, and then we'll publish it for you. So if you're interested, let me know. Contact me and let me know. Thank you all for your time. It's been great. Thank you. Enjoy your lunch. Back at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the next question is?
ICQ.
Yeah, what time are you coming back? Where are you going now? What are you going to eat?
Checking understanding eyes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have lunch with you. Can I?
I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing, actually.
You don't know.